Good afternoon, everybody. So today is Tuesday, so it's time for another Shop Talk live at 5 Q&A session. Hopefully everybody is doing well this afternoon. If it gets loud, I will end it early. We are in the midst of lots and lots of construction to the building. So I'm doing the best I can to stay on top of doing videos and stuff like that. I'm so far behind. I was ahead and now I'm behind. I don't know if anybody else ever feels like that, where it's like, oh my goodness, I was here, I was good, and now I'm behind again. But yeah, so again, today is Tuesday, live at 5. Hopefully everybody is doing well this fine Tuesday. So let's say hi to comments and the comments. I said, I'm so freaking tired, y'all. It's not even funny. Do not like construction. I just want to be done. I want to be done. Construction is like the biggest pain in the hiney stuff to deal with, or at least that's how I feel about it. It's like I just want it done so I can be finished. It's so not fun. And again, there's only so much I can do during the day whenever we've got like people working on stuff, and I don't know. So let's say hi to the people in the comments. So hi, Roberta. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Tina. Hi, Mizurika. I am probably butchering that. I am sorry about that. And hi, Valerie. But yeah, so this is our Tuesday Shop Talk. So kind of a hodgepodge of things going on, and wanting to make sure that, you know, if you have questions, comments, concerns, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, hopefully. Oh, it's just Erica. Perfect. Hi, Kelly. I'm glad you're able to join us today. I'm hoping that everybody's doing great. And I did want to remind y'all too, before we get into everything, next Tuesday's live will be there's a fly in here. Next Tuesday's live will be the scrap box drawing. So if you haven't entered in for that, make sure you do. And if you're not familiar with what our scrap box drawings are, we do 2 of them every month on the same day. We have one for our Patreon only supporters. So if you're a Patreon, you're automatically entered at any level of support. So no matter what you do. So we've got that level. And then we also have our regular scrap box drawing. So to enter in for Patreon, as long as you're a Patreon supporter, you're automatically entered. And for regular, make sure you comment on the video from, I think, what day was it for May? I can't even remember. It was May the 4th. Make sure you comment on that, and that will enter you in for the scrap box drawing. So we do it every single, the first Tuesday of every month. Let's see. So hi, Kelly. Yeah, I'm exhausted. Hi, Colleen. I'm glad that everybody's here. Hi, LJ, Christy, Joel, Kathy Ann. So anyways, and then also, what else was I going to say? Oh, the weekly wow sale for this week is 30% off all Deco Sparkle. So if you're not familiar with what the Deco Sparkle is, hey, Cameron, come here. I'll get you to grab me the book. There, do you see one of the catalogs over there?
Yes.
That's adhesive. Oh. I got to show y'all. But yeah.
Another.
Okay, so no, there's one that has a spiral on it, baby. It's just like, okay, sorry, there we go. Sorry, I had to put someone in timeout. So have you ever had a Cricut machine? No, baby. There's the spiral bound one.
Yes. Oh, it's behind it.
Now put the other stuff back where it goes. So, Colleen said hi. So Deco Sparkle is, let me find it so I can show you. I should have been prepared, but as I said, I was dealing with the contractor and all that fun kind of stuff. It is what it is. I cannot wait to be done with all of this. Where is the Deco Sparkle? Okay, Deco Sparkle is this stuff. Isn't that gorgeous? Holographic, shiny, shiny, shiny. So that is 30% off, and that sale ends on July the 4th, 2021 at 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, my time zone. And someone asked, have you ever had a Cricut machine card go bad? Are you talking about the cartridges, Christy? Hopefully that's what you're talking about. And I will tell you that I've never used one of the cartridges, just to let you know. Yeah, isn't that pretty, LJ? Like, look at that. And there's so many different textures. Like, well, they're not different textures, but they look like they're different textures. Like, there's some that's more smooth, and then they're like, I don't know if you can see the black. It doesn't pick up on this camera very well, but it is so, so pretty. Oh, the cord. I've never had a cord go bad. I mean, I'm sure that it could. Like, if you had lightning too close to your house, it's kind of like anything electrical. It could go bad. I'm trying to think if there's a cord that plugs in to the Cricut that you could test. I'm not sure. Hey, Aileen, I'm glad you're here. But yeah, that's kind of where we are on stuff. Jiminy Cricut. Oh yeah, Colleen, the Deco Sparkle is so much fun. I love anything that has like, well, I mean, hopefully y'all know this. I love anything that has a sparkle to it. I am obsessed with glitter and sparkle and shine like nobody's business. But yeah, it's been a long couple of weeks. It's been a long couple of weeks. I cannot wait for all of this to be finished. And it is taking so long, like our construction is taking a while because we've had so much bad weather. And then we're waiting because we're putting new metal siding on the outside of the building. So we have to wait for that. And I think that that's like 3 or 4 weeks out. So I don't know how long this is going to go on, but I have a feeling it's going to go on for quite a while. I'm hoping not, but I have a feeling that it is. So Roberta, which puff are you using? So Puff they've changed the instructions some, and I did mention it in a video, and we have the new instructions up on the website. But they did change Puff. Because we get all of our stuff, like all of the heat transfer from Specialty Materials, and Puff is one of my favorite vinyls, but they were having trouble getting it from one of the manufacturers, so they had to change manufacturers. So, I guess, so anything purchased after 730, I think, is 300 or 305 degrees. But yeah, if you check the website, Roberta, the new instructions are on the website. So you saw that, but first I had a hard time cutting it, and then it really bubbled up. That could have to do with the pressure, could have to do with the heat. What color were you using? What blade did you use? Maybe I can help walk you through it. So it kind of just depends on what you were, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like I would need to know more, like what time and temperature you did it on and what blade, if you had trouble cutting it. Because it is a little bit, it is thicker than your normal HTV. So you have to kind of, play with it. Okay, so you used white. So white, I know definitely changed. I think the temperature for white is 295, and it's supposed to be on like a medium even pressure. So you don't want to go too hard on the pressure. So it has room to expand, but not to like expand too much. I think that the temperature I think was 295, and I think the time is like 8 seconds. Yes, sign is shiny side down. I'm pretty sure. But yeah. And one of the ways I always do it, like, is I'll grab a pick and I'll lift a corner if I can't remember, especially like on the Frosty Clear. The Frosty Clear, I love that material. But I always forget what side it is. So I always pull up a corner before I set it down to cut to double check because, you know, things like that sometimes change. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Okay, so Christina, for bigger prints that's not sublimation, so you're wanting something that prints vinyl, correct? If that's the case, bigger printers that actually print vinyl, and I'm not talking about transfer material. So there is a difference. You will look on Etsy and you will see people who are like, oh, this is printed HTV. No, it's not. There's a lot of that transfer material isn't actually printed like with a professional grade printer. So professional grade printers typically are, they're moving a ladder, such as a latex, an eco-solvent, and a solvent-based printer. So we have a Roland eco-solvent that will print. Those are expensive. I think the cheapest one of those, I think, is around 15 to 20,000. And then the latex printers, like our HP latex printers aren't as much, but you kind of have to play with which vinyl to use with it because latex has different heat settings and things like that. I think that one was about 15,000, but we have a big one. They make smaller ones, not like small, but it's still smaller. But as far as I know at this current juncture, there is not a home-based, like smaller printer that does bigger than like an 8.5 by 11 or there's really not a home-based printer that I know of that prints like true vinyl. Like you can't just load a piece of Oracal in your HP home printer like you can an HP latex or a Roland. You see what I'm saying? And there are tons and tons of brands out there. Okay, so if you're looking at purchasing a printer, I would definitely do your research before, like if you're looking at a more cost-effective one, and look at reviews. There's a website, it's called T-Shirt Forums, which is a great, I'll put it like the name of it, but it's great for checking and seeing like what issues people have had from previous versions, if that makes sense, or like what problems that they've had. And I think that that's important to kind of look into because a lot of people buy machines and they don't do their research on it. And then either one, it won't do what you need it to, or two, it's more complicated to use than what they explain. Hi, Latrina, I'm glad you're able to make it. So it can be more complicated and things like that to use than what they tell you, because a lot of times, like, and I've done a video over this, like if you go to a trade show, like you may, like for people in this industry, there are several events like trade shows every year. Hopefully they'll come back. But like there's the ISS, which is the Imprinted Sportswear Show. There's the SGIA, which is the sign industry standard show. I forget what it actually stands for. And I think they changed the name of that one anyway. But like, so you can go meet with vendors who people like companies that sell these big machines and stuff like that, and pretty much everything else under the sun. So you can go there and meet with them and you have to remember that a lot of times when you're dealing with this, they're salespeople. They're trying to sell you a product. So they're going to tell you all these amazing things, and they're going to show you how easy this is to use. And then sometimes you get it home and you're like, what did I sign myself up for? And there are so many machines that come from every walk of life, I guess is the best way to say it. Like, there, for almost every price point, there is stuff that is available, but you want to make sure whatever you're doing that you definitely do your research before spending the money. Because I can tell you, okay, so I don't know if y'all know. So we have a Brother direct to garment now. We have, I think this is the GTX Pro that we have now. But so we have the GTX Pro now. We had the GT3 before this. So with the GT3, they were like, oh, it's so easy to use. You don't have to worry about this or that. And then guess what? It wasn't easy to use. It was very finicky. Now, the newer ones are better, much better as far as maintenance and things like that go. But the original one we had, it was like, oh, well, no, now you need to do this. Well, that's not what you told me originally. Well, now you got to, it was a bunch of that kind of stuff. So yeah, you want to make sure before you buy a big machine, you know what you're getting into and do your research on it. Okay, so Chris is asking, is there a machine that will cut construction paper or cardstock without needing to stick it to a mat? So construction paper, especially for your regular thickness construction paper, I can't imagine that there would be a machine that I would trust to cut that without tearing it up without a mat, if that makes sense, because it's a thinner paper. Cardstock, you may be able to get away with. I know Cricut, you can use their cardstock and not cut it without a mat. But I don't know if it has a backing or something. I think it has a backing on it. So it's pretty much like having a mat. I know some people will cut things like that without a mat, but I personally wouldn't try to cut paper on a machine without a mat, because if you've got a nick in your blade or anything like that, you might end up ripping up whatever you're trying to work on. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, as far as I know, other than Cricut using their smart cardstock, I don't know of any machine that will cut it without a mat. I mean, that's something you could try to play with, but I would continue to use a mat, in my personal opinion, because paper is finicky. You're welcome, Chris. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of why we're here, is to answer questions, concerns, comments, the whole 9 yards. Oh, my goodness. I keep getting notifications. It's been a day. But yeah, questions, concerns, comments. I don't know. Y'all, I'm exhausted. And I'm stumbling over my words more because I am so darn tired. So, anyways, but yeah, that's kind of where we are. We do have lots of fun things planned. We're going to have a new crafting for Disney this Friday. Oh, we've got lots of fun projects planned. Hopefully I can get it all done. Thank you, Roberta. I just used a waver on it to curl it. I mean, my hair kind of does this naturally, but not unless I actually take the time to do it. And that isn't to do my hair natural like this takes way, 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 way too long. Am I planning for Craftsmas? So I am not sure how we're going to do Craftsmas this year. I have ideas in my head. I'm just not exactly sure what I want to do yet. But yeah, I know I'm going to make some changes. I just don't know what to do. All right, let's see. So, oh, color looks good. Thank you. It is from the sun. That's why it's changed. It's getting lighter because of the sun. Oh, thank you, LJ. Let's see. Erica, any tips on removing construction paper from the mat without it rolling up. I tried to make playing cards for a banner and they cut great, but when I peeled them up, they curled. So one of the things with construction paper or cutting paper in general is I know that Cricut and other ones have light grip mat. I like to use a mat that is not sticky at all. Like when all the stick is pretty much worn off of, and then I tape it on. So then that way I'll just tape the edges, and then that way you can lift it off just like normal without it having it curl. And you can also do that by like taking like some fabric or something like that has like a linty kind of fabric and making your mat unsticky. But like that's a good way to keep like an old mat just for that type of thing. Yes, Colleen, lots of Disney. We are back into doing crafting for Disney. It is one of my favorite things. Yes, Dawn, we are going to have lots and lots of fall ideas. Lots of fall ideas. I am constantly working on ideas. It takes a lot. I mean, there's a lot involved in it. LJ, you can't even think about Christmas yet. I don't want to think about Christmas. What was Cameron telling me the other day? How many days is it till Christmas?
Like 150.
Yeah, Cameron the other day was like, hey, it's only 150 days till Christmas. I'm like, really? I don't need to know this. You're killing my vibe today. I don't want to think about Christmas yet. I can barely get past the summer.
I'm sorry.
Yes, LJ, hopefully that helps. That's what I do. Okay, so Chris, your wife is a teacher and needs to make lots of repeat cut shapes. She has an Explorer Air 2. Do you have a better recommendation for machine? Okay, so one, it depends on budget and what you mean by repeat shapes. Like how often is she making these shapes? Like if she's cutting like tons and tons and tons of circles, they do make bigger machines. That will cut lots and lots of things. Or if you get like the silhouette, you can get a roll attachment for, and the silhouette now they have a 20-inch one. So you can cut up to 20-inch wide. Oh, page full of stars. If you're cutting paper, not really. I mean, if you're cutting paper, you're going to need to keep a mat. Or at least in my opinion, you will. But yeah, there's not like really anything that you can load 20 sheets in all at once, if that makes sense. But you could, on like a Cricut or Silhouette mat, you could use one of the 24-inch mats and cut like 3 pages worth at once. That might help to kind of, you know what I'm saying? So let's see. Oh, Colleen, you're doing a mommy-daughter Disney trip in November. That sounds fun. October is the start of the 50th anniversary, the iridescent celebration. So it's exciting. Yes, true, Jamie. Paper punch. And a lot of times you can actually even look, because they make giant freaking paper punches that you could probably take and do. You could check on Amazon, because I know I have some that'll do stuff that's about this big around, but I'm sure that they make them bigger. That might be able to, stack a ton of pages into. Like they'll tell you a lot of times you can cut like 5 pages do it at once, but it is more labor intensive if you're doing a paper punch because you actually have to kind of punch it down. Your mom is a kindergarten teacher with morning and afternoon class. She had to do tons, 40 or 50 of each shape for each project. Oh yeah, no. I remember like when the kids were little and like when I would go up and stuff and help the teachers like for PTA and stuff. I remember those types of things. It was always a pain in the hiney, but yeah. Yeah, see, I can imagine that, Jamie. I I have a few paper punches, but yeah, I mean, like, as I said, sometimes it's the force of having to actually punch it down every single time that would get to be a lot. But yeah, so there's options like that. I don't know if there's like teacher supply stores that may sell the pre-cut shapes to save time, but I don't know how cost effective that would be either. So there's those types of things. But that's all part of it. It's like time versus money. How much money do you want to spend to save yourself time? A lot of people tend to forget how much actually goes into a lot of things, where it's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, how much time teachers spend doing so many things. And I am a big proponent for teachers need to make a whole lot more money than what they do, because I don't care what age the kids are whatsoever. I don't want to be a teacher. I could not deal. My kids are good. I could not deal with 30 kids of any age all day, every day. I would go crazy. Like, I've taught Sunday school and stuff like that in the past. And, I think my classes at the most were like 10 kids. And yeah, so that was like enough. And I only did that once a week. And I'm like, nope, don't want to do that anymore. Especially since my kids aren't that age anymore. But yeah, I mean, nope, cannot do it. Don't want to do it. But yeah. Roberta, at one time I had tons of paper punches doing creative. Yeah. I never really got into scrapbooking. I wish I did. Like, I bought a bunch of stuff to do it and never did it. Yeah, teachers always bring home homework to do, LJ. You are correct about that. Teachers, as I said, teachers are one of them. They're underpaid and underappreciated. It's like there are a lot of jobs that I feel like get a lot of appreciation for the things that they do, but teachers are definitely one of those things that are not appreciated for all the work that they do. Like, as I said, I've been involved in PTA and stuff for many, many years, and it would boggle my mind the amount of things that I would hear parents say, like, well, that's the teacher's job to teach them that. Well, you still have to help your kids at home. And, you also have to remember teachers have so many kids to deal with that you need to kind of help with your own kid too, to make sure that they get everything that they need. Or like people complaining about supply lists that teachers send home. Well, do you realize how much money teachers actually spend out of pocket buying school supplies? Because there are a lot of kids, and I know at our schools there are, that are economically disadvantaged, where like they couldn't afford all the school supplies. So teachers would go and buy a lot of that stuff out of their pocket, and parents would gripe because they would need to send, 6 boxes of crayons. Have you ever seen how many crayons a kindergartner will go through and how quickly they will go through it? And parents don't want to, and the thing is, and part of it is the reason why teachers ask for so much at the beginning of the year is so, one, it's on sale, so it's more cost effective for you as a parent. 2, in the middle of the year, trying to ask a parent to send more school supplies if a kid's ran out of it. So many parents were like, no, I ain't doing that. My kid didn't even use all that. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot. And again, think about it. Teachers, most of the time, especially during the school year, they spend more time with your kid than you do. I mean, because a lot of the hours they're at home, they're asleep. And you need to realize how much effort that they put into it. That a lot of time, like, as I said, I've known teachers for a long time, like teachers on Cameron's soccer team. They're sitting up there at practice for their own kid, grading your kid's papers. They can't be involved as much with their own kid because they have to worry about yours. So thank your teachers. Be very appreciative of it because they are who to me, a teacher is one of the most important career paths you could ever go into. They're shaping the future of our society. And it is definitely important to make sure you keep teachers happy because if you don't, you're not going to keep the good ones in the field. They don't, I mean, if you're underappreciated, underpaid, it makes it very difficult to want to stay in the field, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, and LJ, the cost of college to be able to do it. And you have to stay up to date. Like and people are like, well, I wish I could work a job and get paid during the summer. Okay. Part of the thing is people tend to not realize is, okay, so a teacher, say they're making $50,000 a year. They're not getting paid for not working during the summer. They take that 9 months worth of pay and have it spread out for a year. So that way they can survive during the summer. So hopefully that helps. Yes, Roberta, teaching is a tough job. Kathy Ann, you're welcome. Chris, tell your wife, you're welcome. I guess I am one to just kind of speak out and say, hey, you need to realize what you're griping about. I mean, and every parent wants to think their child is an amazing and they're the next Picasso and they're smart and they're this and they're that. But every parent thinks that way. And your child needs to be able to be treated as much the same as everyone else, you know. Anyways. Oh yeah, Colleen, all the teachers I know, they do that. So like at the beginning of school year, I am that parent that like I go to not Hobby Lobby, like Walmart, Target, Office Depot. And whenever there's like an amazing sale on spirals or crayons or whatever, I buy tons extra and just send it up to the school because there's always going to be a kid, one, that doesn't have the supplies that they need because that happens, or two, parents who are like, even if they have the money to buy it, they are like, my kid won't go through that, so I'm not going to buy that. I've heard that one too. So it's like, to help take some of the burden off of teachers, because especially at the before school, like you can get Crayola brand crayons, like the 24 packs. You used to could buy them because I haven't had to buy crayons in a while because my kids are older, but you could buy them for like 25 cents a pack. And I would buy as many as I could. Spirals for 10 cents, folders for 10 cents, those types of things. Buy it, send it up there, let them use it for what they need to. Exactly, Latrina. If you're a parent and can help out, you kind of should. I don't know. There are so many things that I think about. Like, it's like one of those things where I hear people complain, like people who are on food stamps or Medicaid and stuff like that. And like, well, I don't want to take care of someone who's freeloading. Okay, so here's some of my thoughts on that. So as an adult, if you can't afford it or whatever, that's whatever. But like, if there's a kid involved, why would you say that they deserve to not have a roof over their head, if that makes sense? I don't know. That's just my, I want to help all the babies that I can. All the kids need love and attention. And it's surprising to me how many don't. Like, we could use a whole lot more people who want to help kids because they really need that. Like, if you can volunteer at the school, because I know a lot of schools, like, even as an adult, you can go up and volunteer to read to kids and stuff like that. Things like that are important. They're very, very important. And if you can, I always recommend to do it because it really does help, because not everybody has a great support system at home. And I know this from personal experience. But yeah, that's where we are on stuff. I can step down off my soapbox a little bit for schools. But yeah, I mean, that's part of what I'm saying is like there's not enough that can help. And you can. Exactly, Tabitha. Now that you can help, you help out when you can. And sometimes you need help. And I don't want anybody to ever feel faulted because, in our society, like living here in America, you think about it. Sometimes you're one medical bill away. You may be doing fine, but you may be one medical bill away from bankruptcy. And people need help sometimes. People shouldn't have to suffer because of something like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. LJ, I always say, by the grace of God, you never know how the parents got where they are. One tragic accident with bad health insurance. You're correct. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And all babies, yes, all the kids do deserve what the other kids have. That's always good, Colleen. Like, I always joked. I was like, whenever the kids were little, I was like, I was like homeroom mom and all that kind of stuff. It's like I always joked. I was like, I get Betsy these teachers fight over who gets me as a homeroom mom because like I always did as much extra as I could. And for gifts, for teacher appreciation, Christmas, birthdays, all that kind of stuff, I go all out for my teachers. They deserve it. They deserve it. There is not enough teacher appreciation. If I could afford to like buy my teachers Starbucks every day, well, actually, I probably wouldn't do that. I'd probably send supplies every day if I could. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of help it out. But yeah, teachers deserve that. And they deserve respect too. Because again, a lot of times it's more often than not the parents that are the butt heads more so than the kids. Exactly, Latrina. And like our school district, I'll say this, like they went to like the standardized dress where it was supposed to make it so kids didn't feel singled out because they couldn't afford like name brands, because you weren't supposed to have like name brands on your pants. They weren't supposed to have any labels, that type of thing. T-shirts were either supposed to be like bulldog shirts or plain t-shirts, no logos. But one of the things I always said is like, okay, so you're doing this, but you're not saying like their shoes can't have logos. Kids know that shoes are expensive. Backpacks, a kid can tell if you're carrying a Vera Bradley backpack or whatever, because that was popular like when Nadia was younger, and know that those are expensive. And then parents complained that they, like back when Nadia was in middle school, about Miss Me jeans. Those jeans were like $100 a pair. And they're like, we want our kids to be able to wear them up there. Well, then it takes away why you sewed up the standardized dress to begin with. Let's see, Dawn. Seems like machines are outdated so fast. Still my maker, but they gave the expression in original 6x12 Cricut. Wish they had a place to take them and use them. So yeah, Dawn, that's part of it. And I think as like Cricut is improving on that, and like with Silhouette, things like that, you don't always have to upgrade machines. Like, so like the Silhouette Cameo 3, I still have that one. It does the same thing. The software is what tells it to do anything else. A lot of times it's just making sure that you have a machine that has good software to begin with, or something that you can upgrade software. A lot of times it's more on the lines of upgrading software whenever it comes to professional grade machines versus just getting a new machine. Like, that's always been more like of what I would recommend people do. But I guess that's it for today. Remember, next week will be the scrap box drawing. If you have not enter in, which if you're a Patreon supporter, you're automatically entered. The link is in the description box. If you want to sign up for Patreon, there's a lot of benefits for it. I have videos over it. Then if you don't want to or can't do it, We do a regular one. All you have to do is be subscribed on YouTube, comment on the video, and you're entered. The weekly wow sale is 30% off all of the Deco Sparkle HTV, which if you've never played with is absolutely stunning. But I guess that's it. So we shall see y'all tomorrow for a fun new tutorial. I'm excited for tomorrow's tutorial. Y'all are going to love it. But I guess that's it. So we shall see y'all later. Bye.